Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Storytime. My name is Reed, and today we are going to be reading some malicious compliance stories, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Cheese compliance. This is a very mild malicious compliance. I worked as a TOGO specialist for a restaurant that was actually fairly busy in the TOGO area. This isn't just me since the entire team was great, but we were consistently rated number 1 in the company out of 600 plus restaurants while I worked there. Some of my fellow coworkers have left and I hear their scores dropped a lot. I worked nights since the lunch TOGO spec had a son in school and was a single mom. Sometimes her son would have days off school or something would come up and I would have to come in early to fill in. We had some servers cross-trained to do so, but I never complained. If no one takes it, I get overtime. While I was working the rare blue moon of a lunch, a usual customer placed an order with a standard extra cheese in the instruction on her salad. In TOGO, we have a cheese packet that we give out instead of grating it. I, of course, put the cheese in her utensil bag thinking that is it. When the usual comes in, nothing out of the normal happens. Our TOGO manager is very friendly and flexible but strict on following policy so mistakes get caught and fixed. One of my favorite managers I have worked under in any business. Our policy requires us showing each item with each having a clear lid. The salads are the only ones with the entire container being clear. Most people don't pay attention and she was no different. About 30 minutes later we get a call. The lady was upset that we did not follow her TOGO instructions. Without missing a beat, I just asked for the name of the TOGO order and place her on hold for the manager. The manager heads over to me and I'm looking in my backlog of tickets for the name. When I find it, I hand it to her. I let the manager know the extra cheese was in the utensil bag, so maybe she didn't notice it. The lady on the phone said that she got no cheese on her salad and was upset. The manager said that the cheese and TOGO orders are placed in the utensil bag. The lady huffs on the phone about how that cheese tastes terrible, which, to be fair, it doesn't taste different, but the texture is more powder than the grated cheese. The manager apologizes and says that next time when she comes in, we will pay for her salad and give her a free slice of cheesecake on us. The next day, my coworker tells me her usual came and complained about how dumb I was for not knowing what she gets, how she comes in every day, and how my coworker is the only one with brains at my work. My awesome coworker and me were close, and I often went out drinking with her and her boyfriend. She said she defended me, but whatever I did really agitated her. She informed me that the lady only likes grated cheese and she usually does a layer on top, which I put in my notes for later. A couple weeks later, coworker was going on vacation and I was going to be working lunches for the week. This is due to most people trained have college and can work nights and not lunches. Of course, I get an online order from the lady again, which after jokes about her ran about me become the norm in the TOGO area. It wasn't hard to forget her name. I decided I would make this lady understand that I'm capable and was ready to wow her with extra service. I had her entire order ready. I ensured everything was clean and looked very nice. Even set up her salad to look like pictures and advertisements. The only thing I didn't know was how much cheese did she actually want. I didn't want to overdo the cheese and ruin her salad. I put a cheese grater to the side of her salad and waited. When she arrived, there was a line and I was very busy. When she reached the front, there were 2 people behind her. She clearly remembered me and was not looking happy upon me just greeting her. All her food is good, her drink has enough ice and pink lemonade for her. All looks good so far. Now for the salad. For this part, her abbreviations are usual customer. This was well over 2 years ago, so I'm keeping it a bit shorter and it isn't everything since I don't fully remember. Me. I am holding her salad and a cheese grater. Alright, usual customer, here's your house salad. Usual customer. There is no cheese on it. I have the cheese grater, I was cut off. You did this last time, I interrupted her, and I regret doing that. I have never put cheese on your salad, so she cut me off. I was going to say I was going to ask you to tell me when to stop so I know for the future how much is perfect. I want your manager. I push my headset that connects to hosts, bussers, and managers. TOGO manager, I need you to the front, please. Once the manager is called, I shut up and wait unless I am asked a question, so we just stood there in silence while I wait. Usually takes about 5 to 20 seconds for a manager. Manager walks up immediately. He didn't put cheese on my salad again. You should train your employees better. My manager looks at me confused since I have great surveys and scores. Manager, I'm sorry to hear about that. How much cheese would you like? I am holding the cheese grater out to my manager already, so she picks up on the hint. I never have this problem with awesome coworker. Manager begins grating. I'm glad awesome coworker's doing great, so let me know when to stop while grating the cheese. Usual customer after a sec says stop and she pays and leaves. I help the rest of the guests, then my manager asks me what that is about. I explained that I remembered she didn't want the packets, but I didn't know how much extra cheese was since I have never served her before, and extra is different for everyone. I kept note on how much cheese was on her salad that my manager did because I do take pride in my work, no matter the job. 2 days later, I'm still working a lunch shift for my awesome coworker. The lady doesn't place an order online, but calls this time. I pick up, of course, and she asks when awesome coworker works. I explain that I can't talk about my coworker's private life as that would be an invasion of privacy and break company policy. The lady reluctantly accepts it and rudely asked if I can get a simple salad correct this time. I said, no problem. Now here's where the malicious compliance comes in. All of our calls are recorded, so I wasn't worried. She ordered everything normal. However, when it came to her salad, she went full Karen voice and stated very clearly, I want a simple salad with extra cheese. I know some people think that means no cheese, so I want extra cheese. Whatever amount guarantees I get some cheese. Do you understand? I respond with a simple, I understand, and told her the total. When the lady was rudely explaining her salad, I decided to type out her exact special instructions, which show up on the receipt as well. So on her receipt was essentially house salad, extra cheese, not no cheese, extra cheese. This is important later. I not only put some cheese in her salad, I load up the salad with cheese. Normally there is a decent airspace between the lid and the salad. I put 2 full blocks of grated cheese on this bad boy. It was impressive to me. She wanted extra cheese, then I will comply. The usual customer comes in and I positioned her order so the salad is the first thing she sees. I also put the ticket that read extra cheese, not no cheese, extra cheese on top of it with the instructions, have a pin box and check mark next to it. Her mouth did a silent gasp, but she paid and left. No call, no complaints. Each day I filled in for my awesome coworker, I would get unusual calls of people hanging up after my greeting, which I assumed was her. A month later, my awesome coworker tells me that the usual customer would always come in and openly complain about how I was allowed to work there. She openly hated me. My manager and coworkers didn't care because I worked nights and knew what I did was only what she asked. I found out that the usual customer was a manager of a store nearby and got fired for how she treated her employees. She would always try to get my awesome coworker to come work for her, which led to my coworker knowing a lot of the issues going on at her work, which only made her want to never work for the lady. We would secretly joke to our manager how if I ever quit, I should find where my biggest fan is and go work for her. It sounds so nice. OP is definitely top in their field. They hear extra cheese and they supply. That's what I call good service. Sure, I'll fly 1,000 miles for my shift. So, last year I worked for quite possibly the worst corporate retail store for the worst phone company, and at the time I had the worst manager. It really was a great situation all around. When the manager took over shortly after I had started, she decided that she didn't really like the official scheduling app. It was on our phones. Most of the time it was auto-generated. It let us request time off, see our time off balances. In fact, it was the only functional application that existed in that godforsaken company. But she didn't like it, so she refused to use the app. Instead, she had a spreadsheet that she made each week that was promised to us a week ahead of time, but we generally wouldn't actually get it until the day before the week's round of shifts started. Enough background, on to the malicious compliance. Since she didn't ever use the official scheduling app, time off requests through there generally fell on deaf ears. So anytime I needed off, I'd make the request through there in the official channels and then email her. She was notoriously strict on any time off. The needs of the store outweigh the needs of the poor suckers working there. Except for her, a third of each month was spent flying out somewhere for her vacation. On this particular instance, I needed some time off to go visit my grandma and my cousin in California for my cousin's graduation party. I made sure to ask months in advance and had my grandma buy the tickets ahead of time so I could use that as an excuse to say I had to have that time off. I email her all this 4 months in advance and annoy her until I get email confirmation that yes, I can have a whole 2 days off in addition to my normal 2 days. So, finally the time comes. I go down to California, the high school graduation party was great, and I'm on day 3, the day before I leave to go back to Oregon. That's when I get a call from my manager. Manager, hey, where are you? Me, is this some kind of trick question? No, you're 20 minutes late to your shift. No, I'm not in today. As it turns out, Miss Manager didn't send out this week's schedule until after I had left the state. I didn't bother to bring my work phone with me to receive her made-up schedule, so I didn't get a chance to correct her before the phone call. Yes, you are, and if you don't get your butt in here in the next 20 minutes, you're getting a write-up and 2 attendance points. That's going to be kind of hard considering I'm still in California. Do you care to come pick me up? What are you doing in California? She's panicking, and I don't blame her. There's 5 employees that work for that store, including her, and generally in the middle of the week, I was scheduled to close solo. I'm visiting my grandma. Remember I emailed you about this months ago and you approved it? At this point, she's furious that after a long day of sitting in her office watching Netflix, she may have to close the store? We're going to need to have a serious talk about this when you get back. There was one good thing about this phone company I worked for. 1, it was union. We're supposed to get our schedules 3 weeks in advance via the app. She shouldn't be trying this, because it's the same reason she's not trying to railroad the openers into staying for my shift, because they're both incredibly trigger happy with the union. Okay, we can have a talk about it, but I'm going to have to make a quick call to union rep so he can be there. Because you allowed me time off per your emails. Well, you have to follow the schedule. The one we received last minute through unofficial channels? Because I take screenshots of when you send those out and the dates they cover. I'm not sure the union would appreciate. Enjoy your days off. Click. Dang, OP sticking it to the man or the missus. Either way, I like it. Good job, OP. You faxing to me? Back before cell phone robocalls was the era of fax machine spammers. My office would receive several faxes a day from an office supply business. Phone calls requesting them to stop did nothing. Aside from the waste of paper and ink, these spam faxes came during the busiest part of our day, when our customers faxed in their delivery expectations for the next business day. Each of their faxes had their business header at the top, followed by filled out completely, then supplies to choose from and a number to fax the form back. I told my secretary to take a black marker, circle fill out completely, color in the rest of the page, and fax back 5 times each time we received their order form. The faxes stopped that week. They said fill out completely, and boy did they fill out completely. Nice job. That's all the stories we have for today. If you liked what you heard, subscribe for more content like this daily. Goodbye.